Welcome to Bobby Likas Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, call now at 1-800-264-5454, toll free from anywhere in America. And now, here's your host, Bobby Likas.
And a special welcome to this edition of Bobby Likas Car Clinic. If you have a car question for Bobby, don't we all have car questions? Even on my own automobile, there's a certain tire noise that I have. Now, granted, it has 23,000 miles, and there are some scuff marks on the tire. So I believe the answer to my question with the noise that I'm getting from my tires is I need a set of tires. Now comes the bigger question. What kind of tires do I buy? Do I buy the tires that came from the factory, or do I look for a different brand? We'll discuss that and more coming up on Bobby Likas Car Clinic. Good morning. 888 Car Clinic. Kim will take your calls, put you in a queue, and I will put you on the air. This segment of Bobby Likas Car Clinic is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Trust the friendly, knowledgeable parts professionals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. They know what it takes to get the job done right. Professional technicians have counted on O'Reilly Auto Parts for years. Come see for yourself. O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. I use O'Reilly Auto Parts in my automotive service center, and I got to tell you, the service that we get from O'Reilly Auto Parts is first class. And then why that's important? Because our customers look at us and they say, hey, they do a great job. How terrific is that? It just seems to work that way. Okay, your call's coming up at 888-227-2546. I'm Bobby Likas. Like us? You're going to love us.
And now back to Bobby Likas Car Clinic and your host, Bobby Likas.
And I want to welcome you to this segment of Bobby Likas Car Clinic. I want to reach out to KOLT 1320 AM in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, Car Clinic affiliate. And a special shout out to Nate Christopher, General Manager, and Gary Urich, Program Director on our Car Clinic affiliate in Scottsbluff, Nebraska, KOLT 1320 AM. Hey, if that's your neck of the woods, Kim will take your calls at 888 Car Clinic. That's 888-227-2546. Now, we have a couple of numbers, but I chose 888 Car Clinic because it's easier to remember. And although I'm not one of those that likes to convert Car Clinic to a number, and that's why I give you both, but of course it is easy to remember, 888-227-2546. Let's take a call from James right out of the chute. You were early, first in, then we'll go to Jim, and then I'll take your calls again. Phones are open. 227-2546. That's a 888. James, welcome to Bobby Likas Car Clinic. Glad to have you in the house.
Well, good morning. It's a good Saturday morning, Bobby.
It is a good Saturday morning. I'll tell you, it really is, and that's not so cool.
You above ground's a good day, so we'll leave it at that. Bobby, got a question for you, but I think you might have answered it on your commercial I heard.
Okay.
CRC.
Okay.
I've got a 2002 Nissan exterior. Missing on number 2 cylinder. I changed plugs, wires. The timing belt was off one notch. I had that repaired. Rotary cap button, and it's back to missing on number 2 cylinder, and it's in the injector. I've poured the pour and pray products. It'll run better for a while, and it'll quit. Now, the CRC that you advertise, you spray it in your injector cowl. Will it clean the injectors?
No. What you spray in, there are two different types of cleaners, Jim. There's wet and then there's dry. The wet is what you would put in the gas tank. And so that emulsifies and mixes with the fuel and goes through and cleans everything from the fuel pump. The fuel doesn't clean the filter, but it cleans all the working parts of the injector, and also helps to clean on port injection. It cleans the back of the intake valve. That does nothing for, and it cleans the injectors themselves. That does nothing for the throttle body or the plenum chamber. That's what we call the air clean on our side. So you've got an air clean, and then you've got which is a dry, and which goes in through the throttle body, and that cleans. You've heard me talk about the black lung disease and the.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. That cleans that out, and it also helps to clean the back of the intake valves. Nothing for the injectors because it's on the breathing side, the lung side. Conversely, on the wet side, which is where the injector spray pattern, that's where we use an injector cleaner. But if you've got an injector that's totally clogged, or if you've got an injector that has a wiring problem, it of course won't repair that. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to find out which injector is not working. And I don't know if you're working on this yourself, I guess you could like trade one injector for the other.
Well, the only problem with that, Bobby, is you have to pull that plenum to get the rail off.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to go there then. Here's what I suggest. I like to take a stethoscope, a mechanic's stethoscope, and listen to the injector work. And you touch. Of course, you got to be careful what you touch with one of those things. Have you ever used one of those?
Yes, I have.
Yeah,
I have one here at the house.
It really magnifies it.
Blood
right.
pressure.
So touch all of the injectors, and you'll hear this little you'll hear that precisely. And then if you go to 3 of them, and then the fourth one goes, it will totally be a different sound altogether. And then if you say, well, is that really the difference in sound? So do that same test over again. And you will find that the injectors, depending on where you touch each injector, and some are a little tougher to get to than others, but where you touch each injector, the body of the injector, you will get a distinct ticky, 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 because that's nothing more than an electric solenoid. And so that's what I would recommend that you do to find out if that injector is working. If it's not, hey, then you could have a driver problem in the ECM, an injector driver problem, or you could have a wiring connection problem, or you could have a bad injector.
Well, this particular one that's missing is right behind the distributor cap number 2. You can see it and you can touch it. And I was fixing to take my own meter to check it and make sure it was.
Well, you can do that.
Like
Yeah, you can do that. But first, use the stethoscope, because that's the easy, James. That's the easiest way for you to determine if that's the culprit. Because have you actually checked compression ratio or compression ratio?
Yes, sir. I just got it out of the shop last week.
Okay.
And everything's fine on it except it's missing on number 2.
Yeah. Well,
and I like I say, I can put this pour and pray stuff in there. It'll run fine for a little bit. Then it'll start right back again.
Well, you probably have a bad injector, but my question is here. The question is your question. If you're going to pull the plenum and replace that injector,
you may as well get them all.
Yeah, you may as well get them. May as well. You're ahead of me. Hey, you don't need me.
I just need a little insurance every now and then, Bobby.
Okay.
And it's a pleasure talking to you. Look, I hope you have a real good weekend.
I thank you very much.
I'll go and let somebody else have it.
James, thank you much. I always appreciate hearing from you. 888-227-2546. I'll take your call. I mentioned earlier on the program that I had tire noise and these factory tires on my car. And they really don't look that bad. In fact, we've checked for front wheel bearings. Now, the car only has 23,000 miles, 22 and some change, right at 23,000 miles. And slowly over the past 6,000 or 8,000 miles, I've heard this. And I'll tell you what, folks, you've driven your car. Maybe you've heard this or not. As you slow, on a quiet road, this is not normally in traffic because, you have other outside noises. But as say you're coming up to your home and you're down to that last couple of blocks and there are no other cars and you slow down and you hear this zzz, 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 and it's like a zipper. And it really is like a tread. It reminds me of knobby tires on a. Well, we used to use them on the beach. We don't drive on the beach on the Gulf Coast anymore, which of course they do in Daytona, lucky dogs. But the bottom line is there's a noise there that comes from these tires, and I will tell you can't really see any really chopped blocks of the tire, but there is some inside tire wear. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to have to get a set of tires, and I'll tell you, when I do, I'm going to get a set of the Altimax, the Altimax RT43, the general tires that we talked about. Those tires are unbelievable. We recently installed a set of General Altimax RT43 tires on a 2007 Camry LE. And I'll tell you about that, and we're so elated with them, and I'll tell you exactly why. But first, we'll take a call from Jim with an 82 Malibu. Jim, welcome to Bobby Like Us Car Cleaning. Thanks for holding.
Thank you for taking my call there, Bobby.
You're welcome.
Just to reiterate about your situation there, almost every time I've ever had my tires rotated, get that noise. Oh, man. drive you crazy.
Well, it really does, because my car's so quiet, and it did not make that noise. And see, here's you can really cut to the chase. We have people that call. I do. It says my car's making a noise. I went to the dealer or I went to a shop, and they said, "Oh, that's normal. It's okay." And so my question would be to them, well, when you bought the car new or when the car was made, did it have that noise? Of course, the answer is no. So my car has a noise now that it did not have, so I know that's not normal. And yet, Jim, if you look at these tires, you would swear that they're not bad enough to cause the deep vibration. And even
don't forget, down here in Florida, you have the shifting of those belts.
Well, yeah, but this is a tread.
There's something a little different there,
yeah,
too, for you. But
yeah, it's a
it would
tread
only
noise.
take a little shift for that tread to just run, irregular.
Yeah, got you.
And then you'd hear that noise. Well, that's what radios are for, Bobby. You turn it up.
Hey, I've done that as well. I mean, that's why I'm hard of hearing, because I've blasted my ears.
That ties into my call here, because my rod is rapping and I can't get the radio loud enough.
Okay, so what are you going to do about you have a rod knocking in the engine?
Oh, yeah, you can really hear it. And, and I'm saying to myself, well, maybe that's the end of the engine. But, years ago I had a 64 Malibu, and what happened was it was the rocker arm that broke.
Right.
And I replaced that rocker arm, nut along with the rocker arm.
Oh, yeah,
and it was okay again. So I don't know if it's worth playing around with, but it's been a good old hoss, and I hate to put a bullet through it.
Well, let me just share this with you. In the last year, we've had experience, and we're currently going through the same experience now with an engine that had a rod problem. Another engine that had an overheating problem, had 200,000 miles on it. We thought we could fix it. We put a reman head on it, and it it's given us nothing but real problems. And our customers have been without these cars, these two particular vehicles, for too long. And we've worked on them too often, and we're doing it on my nickel because of the situations that occurred. And here's the bottom line. If I were to advise you, if you know that this engine has a rod knock, do not repair that engine. Either get a used engine or a reman engine, or get rid of that car.
Yeah, that's what it's coming down to. And a friend of mine told me, he says, "My God, it's an 82 Malibu." I said, "Well, look, only 2 more payments." He said, "What?"
You are a funny guy. Only 2 more payments.
Well, I hated to hear those words, but that's what I narrowed it down to here.
Yeah.
And there isn't anything I like out there, Bobby. I don't know.
I get it. Hey, got a break coming up. Thanks, Jim. I'll talk to you on the other side. Don't go away, folks.